Gorse. We all love it. How do we get rid of it? I'll show you a couple of ways. First of all, let's take a look at some of the things we're going to need. A pair of welding gloves, must have. Second of all, we're going to check out this thing right here. This is an extractorgator. You can buy them online. Good bit of kit, it's expensive. There's a guy that imports them from the States. I can't remember if it's American made or Canadian made. Yep, made in Canada. But we'll show you how that works. And then secateurs, bit of poison. Now, a lot of you might say that, oh, using that stuff, that's the hard way. Why would you bother doing that? Well, we're tight asses. We don't want to pay for a tractor or mulcher. So, we're doing as much of it as we can by hand. Let me show you what we're looking at. Gorse, gorse, beautiful gorse. Gorse, gorse, gorse. That's all new gorse coming through. There's gorse mixed with native bush. We've probably got a hectare of gorse, and it goes into that forestry block right there. Okay, so I've already been at it for a few months. We did have gorse all up this fence line, past that pine tree, all the way along here, following the fence line up near the yards, past the digger. We've already done all that. We found what works and what doesn't. Let's have a look. Can't even find any stumps to show you. Basically the thick stuff, cut it as close to the ground as possible, and then we've just been using like a super strong 1-to-1 mix of glyphosate, painting the stumps, and well, as you can see by lack of regrowth, that works pretty bloody well. Now I think Tordon's supposed to work better, but we don't really want to spray too much of that sort of carry on around here. We want to try and keep it as organic as possible. So what you don't want to do is just cut it and leave it. My old man, old Bazza, he got himself a brush cutter, well, which he's now passed on to me, so that's fantastic. But he took the liberty of getting that onto a section of this gorse, and we'll see how that looks a couple of months later. As you can see, it's coming back with a vengeance. So if you're cutting, you need to paint it. Now let's have a look at this extractorgator, shall we? Right, how this piece of Canadian ingenuity works is lift it up, those jaws open, put those jaws around the trunk of a piece of gorse, put it back down, watch it clamp, and then roll it back, and then it pulls stem and roots out. And here's one I prepared earlier. As you can see, here's a wee young one that I got around the trunk, and you can see it's got all those roots with it, so that kind of stops that from regrowing totally, which is fan-bloody-tastic. Okay, so here's an actually victim. Right, we're going to clear that base away. You're going to have to bear with me because I've only got one fucking hand. Right, so there we go. that around the trunk, in between the jaws. Oh, missed it. This is a bit awkward, sorry. Okay, I've got a now. Oh. Yeah, see that happens too sometimes. Gorse can grow like that. Must have just been attached to an old stump or something. Let's try another one. Okay, we found our next victim around the trunk. It's attached to a greater mass, so we'll see how this one goes. Let's put a bit of leverage on that. See the whole lot moving. Ah, you bastard. There we go. Right. Back off. Boom. Roots. See, as you can see, it can be hit and miss depending on what sort of gorse you got. Like, it's a bit unfortunate. I think this part of my land, the previous owners just kind of pushed dirt and bulldozed over everything, so we got big stems underground and it's just a bit of a nightmare. I do have the digger, which I do plan to help me with all that stuff over there, but she's hard work. But this is where the orchard's going, so it needs to be done. Aha, Mr. Ragwort, how you doing? Hey, you want to go for a ride? You want to go for a ride? Hey, there you go. Oh. Out. Boom. Oh, hey, Mr. Gorse, you want to come too? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Another one. Look at that. Point two is holes. Try and cover them up as much as possible to help try and prevent the regrowth. Let's have a crack at this one. Alright. Just got to clear away the base. Let's try that. Not too bad, it did snap, but got a good section of the rooting system out. So I've just spent about half an hour wrestling with decent sized bush. So look, this is where it was. That's it all there. Now one thing I read about gorse is it's actually quite a good nursing bush. As we can see, after I'd pulled that one out, got a nice wee pine coming through. So we'll just let that grow. And that can be firewood in 10, 15 years. Just having a wee rest in the shade after being in that sun. She's a warm one. It's like just a couple of days into autumn. So a lot to do. We want to plant our orchard this autumn. Apparently it's the best time of year to do it, so the root systems can establish over the low months. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of research, the best ways, fastest ways to get your trees to grow. So we're going to give them a crack. Might even try some different methods. And then I can show you guys, do all the work for you, see what works, what doesn't. Cheers.